So this is more of a review slash my thoughts after having beaten the game a couple times now and having a little over 200 hours. And I can most definitely say, without a doubt, that Elden Ring in my book is definitely game of the year, even though it's only the end of March. But I'm pretty confident there really isn't going to be a game that it's going to beat Elden Ring for Game of the Year. I don't see anything in it that's coming out this year that will even come close, unless we get a surprise drop for Final Fantasy 16 and that just blows it out the water or about this, on the same level. But yeah, as of right now, Elden Ring is Game of the Year. The reason why Elden Ring is so appealing to me right now, and I think to everyone as well, is the fact that the game didn't lose its identity after all of these years. It still stuck to its gun. It catered to the hardcore fan base, but at the same time bringing in new players because now they're curious. Like this is the latest AAA games, and people want to the more casual gamer wanna see what the fuss is all about. Like supposedly the Soul games are very difficult, and with the way streamers and Twitch are, this is just another uh, avenue for them to tackle. Like this really hard game that's out has a loyal fan base, and it's fun to see people rage, on screen. I'm not gonna lie, I've watched a couple of videos and it totally cracks me up because you compare your experience with theirs, and it's just absolutely hilarious sometimes. The open world is incredibly massive. I remember when I was at 50, 60 hours in the game, and I really thought for a second I was done almost unlocking the entire map. But after finding a couple more pieces and it just expanded more, revealing more fog of war, I was just shocked like how massive this game was. And each area that you explore is very different from one another. So it's never, even after 50, 60, 70, 80 hours, I never once felt like I was bored or I was seeing the same thing because every area was different enough that it was fresh again. And just tack on the exploration, the unknown, the atmosphere, the music, everything just click. Like you feel like you're actually on your own adventure, and you feel like you're actually alone uh, on this journey. If you're the few that still have not picked up this game, the one biggest recommendation that I can give is, if you decide to pick it up, is to don't use a guide. Play it your way. Create your own blueprint. Do your own thing. Don't follow someone else's blueprint, because I believe that you're robbing yourself of a game that most likely will only come out every 5, 6, 7 years. By looking at someone's guide and knowing where all the best armor and weapons are, I think that's really robbing yourself of the experience. So that's one biggest recommendation for a new player. The sense of exploration, the sense of you finding something on your own, is extremely rewarding in Souls game in general. And it's the same for this game. You just out in the open world, you're just randomly exploring, and you come up against something, and you enter catacombs and you find something and then a secret in that, and you just did that all by yourself. It is extremely rewarding, and it just cement the fact that you're really on this adventure on your own. And there's not a lot of talking in this game. You're 90% of the time you're on your own, just exploring and just fighting and things like that. So combat wise, I think the closest Soul games that comes to Elden Ring is Dark Souls 3. But I feel like it's been tweaked a little bit where it feels a little bit better than Dark Souls 3, although the movement is still slightly heavy and clunky and feel a little slightly out of date nowadays. But because it's a Soul game, you kind of understand. So you let it slide a little bit. But I would say Dark Souls 3 is the closest in terms of combat. And after having finished this game a couple of times now, I went back and played Demon Souls on PS5, and it felt weird and different. Uh, that I actually prefer combat in this game more than Demon Souls PS5 remake. Obviously, Demon Souls PS5 looks better, but in terms of the sound effects, the hit effects, when you're hitting the enemy, it just sounds and feels so much more satisfying in Elden Ring than previous Soul game, including the Demon Soul remake. So they did a great job, I think, in the sound department in this game. The soundtrack is fantastic. It fits the mood perfectly. The ending theme is fantastic as well, and everything about this game, the mood, the the loneliness, I mean, when you're out exploring for so many hours and all of a sudden you come up against an NPC, it's just like a sigh of relief, like you finally get to talk to another person, and it's just that sense of adventuring for hours and then talking to an NPC that you're actually looking forward to, hear their side of the story. And it's very rare that you come up to an NPC and you want to actually pay attention to what they're talking about and what they're saying, because you know that if you don't pay attention, you're going to miss something, because every NPC has something to tell you that is going to be important. That's usually how it works in a Souls game. So if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss like a clue or something for another mission or where to go next. The game doesn't have a waypoint or anything like that to direct you where to go. It does by a little bit. It does have that implemented a little bit, but it's not so egregious that it tells you exactly where to go, and you just put a waypoint on the map, and and there's a waypoint on the floor for you to follow. No, it's nothing like that. To get around this game, you have to listen to the NPC for the most part, especially side quests. If you're not reading the description of the item you just received, or clues of something you picked up, you could completely miss a side quest and have no idea where to go. But if you actually read the description of the item you picked up, there are clues in there that tells you where to go. So just that whole thing, like I said, that you could be missing so many side quests in your first playthrough, weapons, armor, spells that you find on your second playthrough, that it's just adds to the experience. Speaking of a second playthrough, I had so much more fun the second time that I played this game. After I beat my first playthrough, it was roughly a little over 100 hours. I immediately started a new game, not a new game plus, a new game. So I essentially just pretty much deleted all my first playthrough, and immediately started a new game. Because I don't usually like the idea of a new game plus. I want to start fresh, and just re-explore everything again, because if you do a new game plus, all the map it's unlocked and it marks everything you've already discovered. So I kind of didn't like that. So start a brand new game, and I never do that, especially on an open world game. Once I'm done with an open world game, I'm usually done. Even all the previous Soul games that I played, I've mostly kind of burnt out by the time I finish it. So, but this game, I immediately started up a new game and just started over. And I had so much more fun the second time. I found a ton of new areas I missed, side quests that I totally didn't know how to do the first time. Weapons and armor that I found the second time. And the story, you actually, now that you have context, when you first play and you see that opening movie, you kind of have no context, so you have no idea what's going on. But after finishing it, Now that you have a little bit more context of the story, the names of the characters, the bosses, and then you rewatch that intro movie on your second playthrough, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, so that's what they're talking about. It's like, oh okay, that's the Dun Eater. Okay, I forgot about him. Yeah, just the second time is so much more fun in this game, and that is extremely rare. All right, so let's switch gear a little bit and talk about the gameplay. Now, is Elden Ring a hard game? Yes, definitely it is a hard game on your first playthrough, especially if you're a soul newbie. Even for people who played soul games in the past before, it is still a very hard game on your first playthrough. It gets much easier as you progress, as you accumulate knowledge, especially on your second playthrough. Once you've accumulated so much knowledge, your second playthrough, you know what items to upgrade and things, and your summons, what works and what doesn't. So it is a very hard game in your first playthrough because you don't know where to find the items and things like that, your upgrade items. But once you do, and you know where to, and that's the thing I said early in the video, is don't follow a guide, knowing where all the upgrade materials are, because you're just ruining the experience, I think, for yourself. Figure out all that out on yourself, and you're gonna appreciate so much more on your second playthrough. All right, so to wrap it up, if you're one of the few that still haven't bought this game, don't wait for a sale. This is one of the very rare game that I will ever recommend. Just go out and buy it. Don't even wait for a sale. It is worth it. It is so worth it that I have no problem recommending, paying $60 for it day one. Well, day 30 now, but yeah, just buy it. It is one of those gems that comes out only every 5 or so years. The last great one was probably The Witcher 3, that you can replay multiple times and not get bored. Elden Ring is that game right now. We might not get another game like this until maybe Zelda, the next Zelda. But yeah, just go out and get the game. It is that good. All right, guys. If you stuck out this long and watched the whole video, I very much appreciate it. And have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Peace out. Thanks.